This is Pat's Piano Playing, and I have an important thing to tell you. Whenever you're practicing piano and you are learning from a sheet music or practicing a song from sheet music, I like to think of it as putting things in the most simplest manner, enumerating things. I mean, this channel is really, if you play piano or teach piano or like music or teach music or perform music, I do all those three things. I perform music, I make music, and I teach music, all in piano spheres. And I also do a lot of other work, which you will come to learn what that is. But as of right now, I'm always telling my students this, so I'm gonna be telling you my little insights to piano playing whenever I get a chance. So I'll say this right now. Whenever you're learning sheet music, don't get caught up on all the symbols you're looking at, because there's so many things to look at. You're looking at the time signature, you're looking at the notes, you're looking at the finger numbers that are going to be placed there, you're looking at the articulations, the dynamics. All those things are overwhelming when you're practicing, and it turns a lot of people off. It kind of turns people to go to YouTube videos and try to play music from videos themselves. And although music videos are actually pretty good, you get an example of how, you see somebody play, or you see the Synthesia videos, looking at the notes falling down, and all those things are great, but it'll never be as effective as being musically literate. But whenever you are learning a song or practicing a piece on a sheet music, don't be too caught up on all the symbols you're looking at. Don't try to do everything all at once. Some teachers might say that, you gotta apply every single thing as you go measure by measure, and everybody has their own opinion. That's totally fine. I'm not the best piano player, I'm not the best teacher, but I do have some insights and some perspective that, if you guys agree or disagree, you guys can awesomely comment on the bottom and let me know what you guys think. But I like to look at it this way. Whenever you're practicing a song, you want to look at what I call the 3 core values. You don't really know when you master a piece, and this gets brought up a lot when I'm teaching music. For example, one of the biggest things that happens in teaching music, teaching piano, is that songs become kind of like a task. And whenever you have a high volume of students, when you're teaching over and over and over again, it becomes kind of like a homework assignment to be completed, turned in, and move on. And I don't blame teachers for going that route. I even fall into that, pathway, because when I just have a high volume of students, you get so caught up on just like getting the assignment done. Are you able to play it? Move on. And on the long run, that could be very bad. And I'll go more into details on better ways to have a thing called, what I call song retention, where you can retain a song. But whenever you are playing the songs, just make sure you are completing 3 major things that I call the 3 core values. And then you can express more into the music as you get better with the music that you're reading. So core values, 3 core values. 1, you want to make sure you're playing the right finger numbers. Correct finger numbers, the right finger numbers, the comfortable finger numbers. Many sheet music do give you finger numbers that are placed on the measures. You might now, this does not mean you have to follow exactly the same finger numbers that are placed on the sheet music, although you want to make sure if that's your first instinct is to apply those finger numbers, because you don't really know. The composer might have had a very good technique for you to develop, and you need to use those specific finger numbers. But at the same time, if you have a better way, or a way that's more comfortable for you, then cross it out and write your own finger numbers. But at the same time, you need to play a consistent amount of finger numbers. You don't want to play it differently every single time. It'll be so long for you to learn a piece, and it will just suck overall. So right/correct finger numbers should be the first core value that you want to have applied in your sheet music. Number 2, the correct notes. This one's obvious, but when you're reading music at first, it's so complicated because you have so many symbols that are very similar to one another, and you might miss them, and then you end up playing the wrong note. And because your ears are not really trained, you're actually playing it incorrectly, and worse, you're practicing it incorrectly as well. So double check each note, measure by measure. There's so much to go into this, but I'm gonna keep it brief. So correct notes, double check each exact measure as you go through and make sure you're playing the correct note, okay? There's very little chances, not as little, but there's some chances that some sheet music might have like the wrong, edited note on the sheet music compared to an authenticized, sheet music that from another source. So double check and compare to other sheet music if you're playing the correct note, okay? It's kind of basic, but at the same time not simple to apply. And 3, the most important, I would say, is a correct rhythm. This takes more training because you have to know about beats and the note values that you're looking at. Quarter note has 1 beat, half note has 2 beats, dotted half note has 3 beats, whole note has 4 beats. Those are the basics. Also for rests, you have a quarter rest, half rest, dotted half rest, and a whole rest, and they all have the same similar beat count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything that goes beyond that, you're in the realm of advanced music or jazz. So when you're training your rhythm, I'm gonna have to make another video about that, but for now, if you have a good instructor, then he'll guide you through the rhythm of that piece. And if you're teaching music, you want to make sure that you are using a basic way of rhythmic beat values for them to develop their rhythmic abilities. So I don't never kind of introduce my students with a metronome at first, because it's very unforgiving. A metronome really turns off a new student or a amateur student. A lot of musicians don't actually use the metronome because it's just an annoyance. Many metronomes are, I think all of them, if anything, they're all defaulted to 120 beats per minute at 4/4, which means you have a bell beat that rotates after 4 beats. Well, after 3 beats. And if somebody's uninitiated on the metronome, then use what I love. Drumsticks. Use drumsticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So use drumsticks whenever you are teaching music and kind of guide them through their rhythmic abilities very early on. You want to do that, okay? So I'm gonna make this video short, and I'm just gonna call it as the 3 core values. Whenever you're learning a song, practicing a sheet music, anything like that, you want to get the correct finger numbers, the correct notes, and the correct rhythm. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about this concept, and if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.